Hello class, this is Thursday, March 4th. This is lesson 7-4 on quadrilaterals. To start this lesson, I would like for you to try to identify the polygon. The polygon is just a closed figure that has straight lines. So take a minute to try to identify these 6 polygons. Pause the video, and when students are done, you can restart the video and we will have the answers. Hopefully you had a chance to go over these 6. The first one, hopefully you were able to come up with was be a trapezoid. Our next one is a parallelogram. The third one would be a square. Our fourth one would be a rectangle. And our last two, the first one, number 5, is a triangle. And number 6 is a pentagon. Again, these are all polygons. We're going to talk about specific kinds of polygons today in our lesson on quadrilaterals. Our essential question for today is how can we classify quadrilaterals? Hopefully you can understand what a quadrilateral is. Quad means 4, so we are talking about 4-sided figures. There are 3 main types of quadrilateral. A quadrilateral is a polygon with 4 sides. Here are the names right here. We have a trapezoid. Trapezoid is a quadrilateral with exactly 1 pair of parallel sides. You'll see these arrows right here. That means that these 2 lines right here on top and on the bottom are parallel. Parallel means that they will never intersect, they will never cross, they will never meet. So parallel lines. A trapezoid has 1 pair, exactly 1 pair. The second one is a kite. So you can see a kite is a quadrilateral with 2 pairs of congruent adjacent sides. We've been talking about adjacent sides. Those are sides that are next to. They have to be equal. So this is equal to this. This is equal to this. This is a kite. And the opposite sides are not congruent. So this and this are not the same. Our third type of quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Parallelogram is a quadrilateral with opposite sides that are parallel. So you can see that these 2, the top and the bottom, are parallel. The left and the right are parallel. And the opposite sides are also congruent. These 2 sides are the same length. These 2 sides are the same length. Now we're going to talk about some specific kinds of parallelograms. So all of these 3 types down here are specific types of parallelograms. They are quadrilaterals that they have the opposite sides are parallel and congruent. And if that is the case, we have a parallelogram with 4 right angles. That's called a rectangle. Notice the opposite sides are the same. The opposite sides are parallel. And we have 4 right angles. The second one that we have is a rhombus. A rhombus is a parallelogram with 4 congruent sides. So all these 4 sides have the same length. Notice that in this one, the angles are not the same in that one. And our final quadrilateral of a parallelogram is a square. It is a parallelogram with 4 congruent sides and 4 right angles. Many people ask if a rhombus is a square. A rhombus is not a square, but a square is technically a rhombus because a square has 4 sides that are the same, and that's the definition of a rhombus. Other people will ask if a rectangle is a square. It cannot be a square because all sides have to be equal, but a square can be a rectangle because it is a parallelogram with 4 right angles. So a square is a rectangle and also a square. A square is a rhombus, but a rhombus is not necessarily a square. Here are 6 quadrilaterals that I would like for you to try to classify. Please pause the video when students have had a chance to look over those 6. Please restart the video and I will have your answers. Hopefully in this first one you saw all the sides are the same, but there are no right angles. This makes this a rhombus. All the sides are the same. All the angles are right angles. That makes that a square. The opposite sides are congruent. 4 right angles, which makes that a rectangle. In this one, we have opposite sides are congruent and opposite sides are parallel. That is a parallelogram. And the last two, we have one set of parallel lines, which makes that a trapezoid. And in this last one, we have adjacent sides that are congruent and opposites are not congruent, which makes that a kite. Here are a couple more that you should be able to classify. These have 4 right angles. All the sides are the same. Hopefully that you can see that because they are 4 congruent sides, 4 right angles. That would be a square, even though it's turned on its point, so it is still a square. On this one, you can see that this one has 2 pairs of congruent adjacent sides, so they're next to, and the opposite sides are not congruent. That makes that a kite. Please try these 3 quadrilaterals and classify those. When students are done, please restart the video and I will have the answers. Hopefully you had a chance to classify these quadrilaterals. Since these are all the same size, this would be a rhombus. This is a trapezoid because we have 1 pair of parallel sides. And this is a rectangle because the opposite sides are congruent and there are 4 right angles. Our next key idea for today is the sum of the angles of the measures of a quadrilateral will always equal 360. We just completed a lesson on triangles where we knew that triangles were 180, and if I take this and divide it into triangles right here, I get a triangle here and a triangle here. Obviously, we have 2 triangles. 2 times 180 gives us 360. We're going to find the value of x of this quadrilateral, and similarly, we know that 70 plus 75 plus 115 plus x is equal to 360. When I combine all of those, that equals 260. So I got 260 plus x. In order to get x all by itself or isolated, we're going to subtract that 260, and that will give us x equals 100. So our angle of this is 100 degrees. Students, please try to find the value for x for number 4 and the value for x for number 5. Please pause the video, and when students have had a chance to do that, please restart the video and I will have your answers. You may use a calculator. Hopefully you had a chance to get x equals 80 and x equals 65, because when you add these all up, that equals 280. You subtract 280 from 360, you will get 80. On this one, when you add 81, 124, and 90, you will get 295. Subtract that from 360, and you will get 65. Don't worry about drawing trapezoids or anything like that. Our final 2 questions ask you to find the value of x of the trapezoid here on the bluish purple, and looks to me like a rhombus on this one. So please pause the video on this trapezoid and the rhombus and see if you can get the value of x. Hopefully you had a chance to go ahead and solve these. In the first one, x equals 62, and in the second one, x equals 58. So again, we've talked about how do we classify quadrilaterals today. We also have talked about knowing that the degree measures of each angle will add up to 360 degrees. Your homework for today is textbook page 296 and 297, problems 4 through 13 all, and 18 through 26 the even only. Please complete this now and save them for a homework quiz. Have a great day.